Greetings! Welcome to Hal's Hooch. I'm your host, Hal Styles, and today on our first episode, we're going to talk about a liquor that you might not know too much about. It's something that's extremely popular everywhere around the world except here. That would be Korean Soju. Now, before we get into just how popular Soju is, I figured we'd talk a little bit about the history. Now, I want you to come with me now. We're gonna go back to roughly the 1200s, the 13th century. The Mongolian army is pushing their empire out through parts of Asia. They've infiltrated parts of Korea, what we now know as Korea, and they brought with them a very special drink. Now, you might think Mongolians, horses, archery, they're shooting people on horseback and that's it. No. Mongolians, they like to party. They like to drink. And they had a very special drink that they had with them. It was called arag. Arag is made from fermented horse's milk. Now, I know that sounds pretty delicious, but if you think about it, how did Soju, which is generally made from rice, potatoes, how did they get from horse milk to this? Well, that's a good question. My guess is the people of Korea at the time, they saw this horse milk and they thought, you know what, we could do better. I mean, really, who wants to drink horse milk? We could take the same formula of fermentation and distillation and apply it to something else. That's where you get Soju. All right, kiddies, little side note here about horse milk, about arag. I was watching recently an interview with the Dalai Lama where he stated that he convinced the whole country of Mongolia, I don't even know if Mongolia is a country, but the Mongolian people to stop drinking vodka by telling them to switch from vodka to horse milk. Now, when I heard this, my first thought was, is he talking about regular horse milk? Or was this maybe like a little wink and nod, you know, maybe a little, horse milk. Really what he's saying is arag. It's kind of like telling an alcoholic to go from drinking whiskey to beer, you know, just kind of slowing it down. I don't know. I don't know the Dalai Lama. I don't really know his thoughts, but you know, it's food for thought. Arag is apparently still a drink. It's something people still drink. I'll never try it. You will never see an arag video on Hal's Hooch because that sounds absolutely disgusting. But there you have it. Moving on. Soju. As I said before, it is incredibly popular. Now, it's not popular here. You actually have to look for it if you're in America or Canada, Mexico. It's just not really something in the Western world. You don't really see a lot of Soju, but it's incredibly popular in Eastern Asia and parts of Russia, parts of the Philippines, Japan. Anywhere to the east, it's great there. And there's a very specific reason why. First, it's incredibly cheap. You're going to spend probably on a bottle this size in those parts of the world less than $3. You know, for $3 American, obviously, less than $3 for a bottle this size of Soju. The reason why it's so cheap, and this is actually pretty wild. Modern Soju, all the different brands of modern Soju are made with industrial ethanol. So they take ethanol, they add some water, they dilute it with some water, and they just add a little bit of a sweetener, like an aspartame or a sweet and low, whatever. And that's all you have with Soju. That's literally all it is. So if you think about that, that's almost like taking a bottle of rubbing alcohol and pouring a little bit into a glass and then cutting it with water and putting a little packet of sweetener in there. And that's what you have. That's Soju. But because of this low cost of production, it's why it's so cheap to buy. And it's become incredibly popular most parts of the world, just not here. Now, as far as where you can find soju in America, you can find it in, obviously, Korean liquor stores. With Korean liquor stores, it should be a staple. Like I said, this is the most popular drink in Korea. So if you can find a Korean-owned liquor store in the US, it's gonna be there. Probably your giants, like grocery store liquor stores, any place like that, it's gonna be there as well because they have such a wide selection. Also, if you're near like an army base, any place where there's a lot of traveling going around, army bases or even like airports, anything where there's a lot of people coming and going, they're gonna have a different variety of liquors and spirits. Soju should be available there. So we've talked a lot about soju. Now we're gonna make a drink with soju. Now, normally soju is just drank straight, neat. Traditionally, you just pour it a little bit in a cup and you knock it back. But it has a lot of versatility in my mind. This drink has practically zero smell or taste. It's almost like drinking water. It's really very light. It's about 20% ABV, so really low on the scale when it comes to a liquor. But I think that adds to its appeal because you can barely taste it. It's like nothing. So it's pretty deadly, really. You can throw this in anything and make something special with it. But what we're gonna make today is something I just kind of came up with off the top of my head. I don't like to get too fancy with my cocktails. You know, you could cut up some fruit and throw some other shit in there. You know, get some grenadine or God knows what. What we're gonna make is something that you should be able to recreate at your house really, really easily. So what we're gonna need is, obviously, a glass of ice, a little bit of cranberry, and some Sprite. Now I'd say you wanna do about 2 shots of soju, but honestly, as you can see, we've been enjoying the soju for a while now. So we're literally just gonna pour what's left in here. Yeah, that's more than 2 shots, but it doesn't taste like anything anyway. It's gonna be fine. All right, now, we use a little Sprite just to give it some fizz, a little effervescence. If you wanna make it a little drier, which, you know, it's your prerogative, you could probably do like a soda water or something like that. But we're just gonna do a little splash here, a little bit. And then we're gonna top it off with some cranberry. Just give it a little, you know, a little color, a little tang. Should have opened this beforehand. Just to kind of give that some color. All right. Now, I'm just swish that around a little bit, give it a little turn. Okay, I spilt a little, that's fine. Get a little tasty taste. Oh, wow. That's delightful. That is absolutely terrific. All right, folks. So I hope you enjoyed this video about soju. Enjoying my little cocktail here. I have my friend Kyle here with me. Delicious. We're gonna leave you with a little bit of Korean etiquette for drinking soju. Now, normally this will be done with just straight soju, but I made him a little fun cocktail as well. So, Korean etiquette states that when an elder hands someone a drink after pouring them some soju, that they take it in their left hand, hold it with their right, turn away, cover their mouth, and drink it. They nod in appreciation and say thank you.
Thank you.
And there you have it. So, that was fun. Now come on, let's drink it really fast. Come on. Woo!
I see why they call it house hooch.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. See you next time. All right, cool.
Again, you just chugged it.